Okay, so I'm going to give a presentation about the randomization system that you all will be using, which is an interactive touch-tone randomization system, which pretty much means it's telephone-based. You call in, and almost like if you're calling your bank, it's an automated service where it'll ask you a couple of questions, and in the end, it'll give you a randomization number that you'll need. So, after a patient at any of your centers is consented, successfully screened, and has provided baseline information, he or she will be randomly assigned within a participating site to one of the three arms. And the study uses a permuted block randomization scheme. So there's two steps. The first step will be the phone randomization, which I'll go into more details about in this presentation. And then the second step is doing the web drug assignment. And that is, after you complete the phone randomization, it'll give you a treatment ID or a randomization code, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to use that and log into the ITTRS website to receive a drug assignment certificate. And that training should be covered separately by Albuquerque Pharmacy. Let me just get this slide going here. Okay, so to call the randomization line, there's two different numbers. It doesn't matter which one you use, but they're, as you can see, they're on the screen there. And you can call this number 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's going to ask you for a series of, questions. The first one is your study number, which everyone is the same, 596. Then it's going to ask you for your study password, which is the same for all sites. Then it'll ask you to enter your unique site ID, and you're also going to get a site password that you'll have to enter as well. And then it's going to ask you for your initials, and it's going to want to know, it's 2-character initials, and I'll go into details later about how you can enter initials when you have a number keypad, how each number represents a different letter. And then it's going to ask you for the patient ID as well as the alpha code. And the alpha codes, I'm going to show you how to enter those as well, similar to the way you enter your initials. There's a way you have to work out the number combinations. So here is the example. So as you can see here, a J would be the number 51, and that's because the J is on the number 5, and it's the first position on the number 5 button. So to enter this alpha code, you see here that it's actually 8 numbers to make up the alpha code JRHP. I suggest you keep this reference code, this chart here, near you, near the phone, wherever you'll be calling from to make these randomization calls. It's really nice to have. Does anyone have any questions so far about entering the letters? I'll take that as a no. So the alpha codes are going to come from your screening logs. As you can see here, each patient ID has a unique alpha code. So you'll need to obtain the alpha code before you make the randomization call. Okay. There's a few things that you can do when you call into the randomization system. One is obviously randomize a participant. There's also other options, as you can see in the first bullet point here. If you hit the number 2, it lets you get a retransmission of the documents of previously randomized participants. So if you randomized someone a month ago but you lost the documentation, or for whatever reason you need the documentation again, you can call into the system and request retransmission. There's also option number 3 is to do a test call, which all of you will need to do this before you can be approved to make real randomization calls. So say you're calling in to randomize a participant, you're going to select option 1, and it'll tell you that to randomize a participant, press 1. And then it's going to ask you to verify that the informed consent form and the HIPAA have all been signed and dated, and it's going to ask you if the participant met eligibility criteria. All that needs to be done in order to randomize the participant. So if that has not been done, you will not be able to randomize them. And that's really all it's going to ask you after it gets, your site information and the patient ID, and then it's going to give you a 7-digit randomization code. And this information will need to be recorded on your Form 2, and you're going to upload a copy of the signed informed consent form and the HIPAA authorization and ICF checklist to SharePoint within 24 hours of the randomization. And you're going to submit Form 1 and Form 2 to iDataFax within 24 hours and no later than 48 hours of subject randomization. So after you make a randomization call, you're going to get documentation, and this is a sample of what it looks like. And this will either go out by email. I guess all of you guys are doing email. We also have the option to send it out via fax. So I think most people prefer email. And it's just confirmation. It tells you the subject number, the alpha code, the date they were randomized, your initials, and that randomization number down below, which you'll need to enter into your Form 2 as well, and that's what you use when you log into the Albuquerque's website. In addition to this sample confirmation I just showed you, you're also going to get a sample starter sheet, which tells you, based on the randomization date, when required forms are due and the target date or visit window of when those forms are due. So it's just a nice thing that it gives you as a reference. And this is based off of your visit window, which is located on SharePoint. If you have any problems with using the system, sometimes it does go down, not often, but we have had instances where it goes down. We have an on-call number, and the number's listed here, and I'm not sure if they'll have that number maybe in their ops manual, Michelle, or somewhere else where they can find that number.
Yes, it's in the operations manual.
Okay. So you can call that number. We are guaranteed to answer it or be available, either answer it or call you right back Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. If you have a problem after hours, you can still try that number. If we are not available, there will be a recording on who you can call from Hines that can help you. We always have some sort of backup randomization procedure if the system's just down. And so just know that that number exists. So if there's any problems with it, call that number and we can help you. And if a randomization has to be done using the backup process, there will be an email that you will get to confirm that they've been randomized. And eventually you'll get the same documentation that the system sends out, because it will have to enter it into the randomization telephone system once it's back up and running. Here is just exactly what you're going to hear when you call into the randomization line. This is the script, as we call it. So it's a good thing to review before you call in to know what to expect. And that's it. Any questions?
Are we going to get a copy of these slides, or are they going to be listed up on SharePoint?
They are posted on SharePoint right now. If you go to Study Administration, and then if you go to Kickoff Meeting Presentation, the presentation is there.
Thank you.
And you will be receiving, I believe I sent an email to Dindy about doing the test call. And Sonia and Dr. Jackson, you will be receiving an email, too, with instructions on how to do your test call pretty soon.
Sounds good.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
All right.